And as soon as they got across the Red Sea, they started complaining. Murmuring, grumbling, complaining about life. Now, I don't know about you, but if I lived in that time with signs and wonders, and I saw that God had given 10 plagues, parted the sea for me to cross, tapped on a rock, given me water, rained manna from heaven for me to eat, I'd start thinking, what are you complaining about? God's got it. He's got the provisions. So what happens, they complain and grumble, kind of like it reminds you work with organizations, that humanity, all of us, we found out later on that we're not perfect, so most of us do complain and grumble, right, once in a while? It does happen, because that's what it is to be human. Thank God for Christ. But the reality is they're complaining and grumbling all the way. So they finally get to the edge of the Promised Land, and I don't know how many days it took to get to the Promised Land. I asked Pastor Orr here at the last service, he said a lot. It took a lot. So we use that as a definition. But I've asked other theologians too, and they don't know either. So I know this, that I know when they got to the edge of the Promised Land, and after they got penalized for not going in the Promised Land, it was in the 40 years, right? But we don't know how long for sure, at least I don't know. But I will say this. They get to the edge of the Promised Land, and we go into Scripture, it sets it up, and Moses was told by God to actually send 12 spies, kind of reconnaissance mission, to go out and check it out. And see if this Promised Land, what was the people like? What were their fruits and the vegetables and the land was like at the time? And what happens is they come back, and 12 of them, as the story says, 12 of them, out of the 12, 2 of them actually gave a good report and 10 didn't. This is what it says here. It says, they came back to Moses and Aaron and the whole Israelite community at Kadesh in the desert of Paran. There they reported to them and to the whole assembly and showed them the fruit of the land. They gave Moses this account. We went into the land to which you sent us, and it does flow with milk and honey. There's a lot of fruit here. Here's its fruit. But the people who live there are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. We even saw the descendants of Anak there. The Amalekites live in the Negev, the Hittites, the Jebusites, and the Amorites live in the hill country, and the Canaanites live near the sea and along the Jordan. Then Caleb silenced the people before Moses said, we should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it. But the men who had gone up with him said, by the way, these were 12 clan leaders. Okay, they were like our senators, our House of Representatives, that represent our people. They're out there, right? They were there for 40 days. They sent the 12 clan leaders out there, and they're coming back to the 2 clan leaders and say, hey, we should go up there. And they say, but the men who got up there said, we can't attack those people. They are stronger than we are. And they spread among the Israelites a bad report, is what these 10 men did, about the land they had explored. They said, the land we explored devours those living in it. All the people we saw there are of great size. We saw the Nephilim. They are the descendants of Anak that come from the Nephilim. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them. They actually, I don't know if you get this or not in the Scripture, but they actually said, and God later on in chapter 14 says that you'll get what you see. The way you saw it, I'll give it the way you saw it. You will be annihilated. And they had the plague. Those 10 of the actual leaders died of a plague later on because they disobeyed God.